Sup nerds, I'm Wes.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Aaron.
Today we're taking a look at the Undercover Allies expansion for Deception, Murder in Hong Kong by Grey Fox Games.
Killing people.
So you may know that we already do like.
So we love Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Obviously, if you've seen our previous review, so we're not really going to just talk about, how much we love this expansion. We're going to talk about what this expansion adds, and does that affect our experience of Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, positively or negatively? It's positive.
If you have Deception, you should definitely get the Undercover Allies expansion because it's going to add a lot more to your game. You're getting new roles, you're getting new location, it's a location tile, so it's multiple locations. You're getting a whole bunch of new clue cards that you're going to give out to the players, and just tons more of the means and the motive cards. So, just adding replayability to a game that you should be playing a lot already.
I thought you said memes.
Memes?
You get a bunch of memes with it? Deception is one of those games where when I saw that they were adding more cards to these small ones, the means and the evidence left behind, whatever, I was like, good, I want more. But what more can they add? And they did get weird with it a little bit, but it's one of those where I'm like,
Laser Shark.
yeah, I'm like, how much do you really need that? When we played, did you really notice that there were, these things were new? I mean, we couldn't pull back. The biggest thing is that we can't pull back to referencing other games we've played.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving, hey, do you remember when it was Statue and Soda? You're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's probably Statue this time because of that reason. It removes that, but at the end of the day, I didn't really realize that we were playing with all that many new things.
No, but we did. So we did play some big games with 11 people in them and stuff. And we went through the entire deck of the blue cards, both the base game and the expansion. So it was nice to be able to play multiple games back to back with high numbers without any repeats, which can be a little bit overwhelming with, when you have 11 people out there. That's 44 blue cards.
You're just like,
it's fast math.
Yeah. So we had a point where let's all just play Ring Around the Rosie, let's do some laps on the table and look at all the cards. But again, it is really nice that you don't have to see the same cards again and again.
When we were playing, our friend Kat is a person named Kat, not a talking cat, which would have been the first thing I would have said at the beginning of this video. She was the slowpoke meme. I would be like, oh, if it's poison, maybe it's a poison dart. Oh, look, there's wine right there. Maybe it's that. Oh, by the way, there's also red wine. Don't worry, it's not.
Wait,
it's not
guys. I think it might be the poison dart.
Yeah, she'll pull back to something we've said it 15 times. She's like, I just heard it.
do you think that this Kickstarter exclusive Clever Accomplice will be something that people will be able to get later? Because if not, I feel like it's a promo that you're really missing out on. It was really interesting to play with that.
I think Grey Fox will have it on their website.
You could just play with the Accomplice and, the Clever... Shh, make them spend money. But the Clever Accomplice is a really clever idea in that the idea is that there's another person who's on the murderer's team, but he picks two cards in front of just a regular investigator or, somebody who's not on the murderer's team and tries to get people to guess that. Because if they guess that, well, it's not, the right thing that this guy, I'm assuming the forensic scientist, he's usually a forensic scientist. It's not really what the forensic scientist is trying to get you to guess. In fact, it's trying to get you to not guess that. But if the Clever Accomplice at the table can be sly enough and clever enough and smart enough and convincing enough, you all can lose.
Plus, the other thing you get in this expansion is a new event, the Perfect Crime, which could make the forensic scientist want the murderers you win with the murderers. Mm-hmm. And so if that happens, you might be like, oh, extra tricky, and get them to guess this one, and then we win.
It's like that movie, The Game, with Michael Douglas. It's every 5 minutes, I'm like, it's a game. It's not a game. It's real. It's not real. What's going on?
It's a weird movie.
You like that movie?
It was weird.
It's one of David Fincher's first movies.
So I do think the roles that you get in this expansion are really the bread and butter of it. There are a lot of promo packs and more cards you can get for this game that are great, and you get as many as you want. I think I'm set with these 2 boxes, but there's more out there. If you need more, go get them. But these roles are really what I think make this expansion worth picking up, even if you're not is it just no more roles? I don't really need that. You do need these. Is it just more cards? I said rolls.
Yeah.
I like rolls. I'm hungry. We should go to Paisanos.
Just get a bunch of... we're making a video online and you have to mention a local to Gatesville restaurant. Let's go to Red Lobster and get some rolls. Boom. So many people got
Paisanos
that.
is a chain. There's at least 2 of them.
In like Florida only.
I think Wes is right. Like, these roles are definitely what make the expansion. Like, adding more cards is nice. You get to, change up and have more variety. But the roles, having that lab technician who gets to, in the middle of the night, wake up and go, is it this? And, like, confirm with the
Forensic scientist.
With the forensic scientist. And having the one guy, the inside man, who can just take away somebody's badge so they can't lay any blame, like, that's huge, and it definitely makes it more of a party game and feel more like, Werewolf or something, where there's like more stuff going on and everybody has like this little special role. And if one day everybody could have a special role and you didn't have any plain investigators, that'd be awesome.
The inside man is probably one of the, well, okay, I was going to say one of the cleverest, but the clever account. But Inside Man...
The insidest.
Inside Man shifts the meta of the gameplay so much more than any of the other new roles do, in that since he can take away anybody's badge token, well then it incentivizes you to use them early, because it's not until after the whole first round of the game that you go in the lab technician and the Inside Man trigger. So like it's like the end of the first round when you have a decent amount of information, but you could be getting more, and especially if you have both Inside Man and lab technician, you could be getting that lab technician who can confirm or deny one of your suspicions. Be like, I might not get the chance to later, so boom, is it those 2 things? Which is, it's almost good and bad, because if everybody gives up their badge tokens, then the lab technician has nothing to get rid of, but then also, like, everybody, like, the game's over then, right? Like, it's so, there's such a big, like, trade-off. Like, I don't want to lose it, but also I don't want to use it too soon. It's a really clever role.
I also like the Inside Man because when you are playing as that role, you can definitely play some mind games with the players, because you're going to take away someone's token, and the question is, did I take it away from you because you are onto something and I didn't want you to have a vote, or did I take it away from you because you were going in the complete wrong direction and I want to shift focus to what you were saying? And so the people have to really figure out what kind of player the Inside Man is. And I don't think they know who it is. They don't know who the Inside Man is. They have to figure out at the table how that's going to work. And are they really onto something? Does it tell you just absolutely nothing? The Inside Man can just pick the quietest person at the tables and no one really knows what's going on.
The golden rule with deception that we kind of sometimes break is you can never say what your role is. Mm-hmm. You can't even hint at it or whatever, but we tend to do that a little bit. We're kind of like, oh, don't look at any of these cards. You're wasting your time if you're looking at these cards because I'm not the murderer. So that's the lab technician. It was really hard for me to toe that line when I was like, it's a poison death. There's poison dart, but it's not poison dart. Like, how do I communicate that to you guys without specifically saying I'm the lab technician? Like, it was really hard to not say your role when there's that much information at the table.
So in the base game of Deception, there was the witness who would see, who the murderer and the accomplice were, and you'd be trying to hone on the cards of those 2 people and trying to figure out, with the clues, okay, what could it match up to be? But it was always very risky, because if the murderer and the accomplice were looking around, they could, find out who's trying to zero in on them. And I think by adding the protective detail, it radically changed it, because the protective detail knows who the witness is. So when they see who, if that player plays that role right, they'll watch what the witness is, leaning towards, and then they will try and overcompensate for the witness and really take charge of it. And it happened a bunch in the games we played.
It actually happened pretty much every time. And every single time, not only did the killer not guess the witness correctly, I'm pretty certain it was the protective detail who they guessed.
Yeah. No.
That was done such a good job, but it left such a this big is it those 2 things? Yes, it's it. We're like, oh my god, everybody shut up. Okay. The evil people will reveal yourselves. Who do you think it is? And we were all on the edge of our seats, oh my god, is he gonna get it? Is he gonna get it? It's that person. And the guy's like, nope. And we were all bah! So it was such a big party at the end there with that.
And I think that's something that the more that you play with all of these roles, that the murderer is gonna have to start paying attention to. This guy's really vocal. who is he looking at, who is he listening to, and all of those things. And then again, just like Resistance Avalon, the game's not necessarily designed to play all the roles all the time. The roles are designed to add and take away depending on what team keeps winning. If the murderers always lose, take away the protective detail. If they're still always losing, take away the witness. Or
If they're still always losing, give out new murderers.
So if you have base game deception, you definitely need to get this Undercover Allies expansion. I think it adds, like I've said a couple times, it adds a lot to the game, adding the new roles, adding all the extra cards to mix in, and just adding the variability. It just makes it more replayable and, you know, makes it the party last longer, as we kind of said, where, you know, you don't have to reshuffle the deck as many times.
I definitely agree with Aaron. I think that if you have the base game, this is kind of a no-brainer. It gives you the more variability. It gives you more roles that just open your game up. Is these the exact things you just said? I wasn't listening. And if you can get your hands on the Kickstarter box, it's a little bit bigger. I would recommend it just because it has a little more table presence or shelf presence or whatever you want to say. It can store everything a little easier. My only gripe with the whole thing is that one of the stretch goals was a fancy custom insert for this, and it can hold sleeved cards. But the way you have to make everything fit to get everything to fit in this box, it obviously is not how it was designed. Like, it's designed to have like the brown and blue cards here, and then the tokens here, and the rolls here, and then these cards here, and then just your tokens here. And it doesn't work like that. I'm not going to harp on it too much because it's not that big a deal. I prefer custom inserts anyway, either a foam core one myself.
Broken token.
Or any of you people that like to support us. You know, if you make an insert for this box,
Meeple Realty.
overkill.
Insert here. Daedalus, all 5 of you, send us your insert for this. We'll see which
Or if
one's
you
best.
haven't sent us an insert, you know, make one.
Get on it.
Get over here. That notwithstanding, I agree. I think that this is an essential expansion for Deception Murder in Hong Kong.
There's not a lot left for me to say in my final thoughts for this video that hasn't already been said. I do agree with Wes and Aaron that this is an absolutely essential expansion. It doesn't change the game too much. It just adds more of what you've already loved with Deception Murder in Hong Kong. And yes, reiterate, if you can get the Kickstarter box, it's definitely necessary because the retail version is just like that tiny little box, so you're going to be keeping everything in here. And this is certainly, it's going to be difficult for you to do that because we were having a hard time putting it into this box. And it looks like they're the same, but they're not. This one is a little bit thicker, so you can store things like this, at least. So that's pretty good. And Clever Accomplice, if you can get your hands on that, that's pretty awesome.
Definitely get the Clever Accomplice if you can.
Definitely.
If there's
Bring
a
it.
way, if we can find a way for you to get this, there's definitely going to be a link in the description box down below to get that. And, well, I will probably throw in a link to this too. You know, buy them both.
Yeah. And while you're down there, you should subscribe to our channel so you'll never
Be bored. So I do, when I'm playing the Forensic Scientist, there are games where I draw one of these clue cards off the top, and I'm just like, is anybody looking? Because we're totally getting rid of that one.